Now, Queen Elizabeth has proved she's far from old-fashioned, especially when it comes to technology. Determined to keep up with changing times, the 81-year-old monarch now has a number of electronic gadgets. In 2001, she got her first mobile phone, which she apparently uses to text her grandchildren. 4 years later, she joined the MP3 music generation, becoming the proud owner of a 6-gig mini iPod. She has her own email address, naturally, letters are still dictated. And a BlackBerry ensures one has easy access to that account. And the device also means she can now check out her own royal channel on YouTube, the sovereign planning to post this year's Christmas Day message on the website. Well, to get more on our modern monarch, let's talk to Leonie Vlachos from Age Concern, and the Queen's former press secretary, Dickie Arbiter, is also here. Thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
Both of you. Dickie, I'll just start with you because you think the Queen's pretty up to speed with all the technology, don't you?
Very much up to speed. And one thing you did leave out was the launch of a website 10 years ago. Launched with 140 odd pages, has now over 1,000 pages. There's millions of visitors every month viewing millions of pages. So very much up to speed. And it's great that we've got now YouTube, remembering podcasts 2 years ago. Indeed.
And of course, one thinks, oh, well, should I log on for the Queen's speech? Well, perhaps not, but there's plenty more to look at, isn't there?
There's a lot to look at. I spent about an hour on it today, and there's a lot to see. I was looking at the coronation of 53. I'd driven around the streets, or been driven, because I was only a teenager then, driven around the streets looking at the decorations, and it reminded me about what the day was all about. I was out of London at the time when watching the coronation. I watched it on a television set, 9-inch black and white screen like that. And now we're able to watch all this stuff on YouTube and on the internet. Why buy a television license when you can watch it on YouTube?
Now, Leonie, you're working with Age Concern.
That's
You're
correct.
heartened, I presume, to see this kind of information coming out from our monarch at 81 years old.
Certainly. I think it's really encouraging that the Queen, as an older person herself, is leading the way in technology use for older people and actually inspiring older people that might not have the same confidence to take that first step to do just that.
Now, one always assumed that when this technology first came out, emails became the norm, that the older generation had missed the boat and would let it pass them by. But that's probably not the way we should look at it, is it?
Certainly. From Age Concern's perspective, we're of the opinion that the digital divide, or this issue of technology and older people, will always remain. There will always be technology advances. So it's a problem that we're actively trying to address, and have a number of Silver Surfer taster sessions that run throughout the country, encouraging people to come in and have their first taste of technology.
But there is a natural reluctance, isn't there? I remember my mother always took her camera to the shop to have them take the film out for her and put another one into the simple Instamatic.
I think most people underestimate the over 65s. I was on a cruise at the beginning of the month, which was for the over 50s, and the computer centre was full every single day of people. A lot of people over 70 doing their emails, checking the website, working the net and surfing the net. So there are a lot of Silver Surfers, and I think the Queen has really been led by Prince Philip, who's been on computers for years, and he's 86.
Well, Prince Philip is one point, but also grandchildren, of course, are huge, because that's how you talk to your grandchildren nowadays, isn't it? Texting, emails, sharing, looking at things on the web. I mean, that's a way grandparents will motivate them to go on to technology they might otherwise stand away from, don't you think, Leonie?
A large number of our taster sessions actually have an intergenerational focus, and it's a remarkable experience where we see younger people using the technology, so transferring the technology skills, while the older people are transferring their tales, their stories, their experience and wisdom. So it's a win-win situation all round, and a large number of people are taking it up. But to pick up on a point you made about older people, we've found that they're exceptionally interested in the technology, and that there's actually a misconception, a misperception that they don't want to take that step.
But is that because the technology is now easier?
It's easier, but they've also got the time to learn about it. They're almost learning as fast as youngsters are learning, not as fast as using it, but as learning it and picking up the skills pretty quickly.
So do you think the Queen's flipping open her own laptop and logging on, or do you think she's been presented with a web page ready set up and ready for her to go?
I think she probably surfs a bit as well. Okay. I think increasingly older people are seeing the relevance of the technology. Initially, there was a fear issue, which can be addressed a number of ways.
That's the key to it, isn't it? It's the fear issue.
Yeah, certainly. And I think that once you put that technology in a safe and a warm environment, whether it be with grandchildren or an age concern centre, then people are ready to take that step. Yeah. And increasingly, older people are noticing the relevance of the technology. So now there's the Queen's speech as well to see on YouTube. They see all the www on all the advertisements. So they're wanting to get on. There is no longer that relevance barrier, I believe.
I did hear one modernising rumour coming out of the palace that this year, under insistence from the grandchildren, they're going to put aside the goose and actually have a turkey for the first time. Do you know anything about that, Dickie?
I don't know anything about it, but I do know that they'll be watching the Christmas message. What is interesting, it's going to be on YouTube, it's going to be on television. You can watch old Christmas messages as well. And the irony of it all, this is the 50th anniversary of the first television Christmas message, and it's the 75th anniversary of the very first Christmas message that was done by George V at Sandringham in 1932.
Well, we wait for those and look up those on the website. And Leonie, I suppose the message is don't be frightened. It's actually quite doable at any age.
Absolutely, certainly. And there is the environment, the training and support available. So take that first step. A journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with one click, really.
Leonie Vlachos, thanks very much for
Thank
coming
you.
in. Dickie Arbiter, always a
welcome.
pleasure. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.